How often do you do things? In other words, what do you do every day? Do you have a daily routine? Maybe you're curious about your friend's daily life. So what adverbs can we use to describe how often we do things? Let's learn about adverbs of frequency. What are adverbs of frequency? Adverbs give us more information about a verb. Adverbs of frequency tell us how often an activity happens. There are many adverbs to choose from. Here are some of the most common ones, listed from most frequent to least frequent. I always walk to work. They usually arrive late. My father often forgets his birthday. He sometimes wakes up early. I rarely drink tea in the morning. You hardly ever say you love me. Jenny never drinks coffee in the evening. We can use adverbs of frequency with the verb to be. We are never unhappy. This time of year is usually the coldest. We can also use modal verbs with adverbs of frequency. For example, we can use the auxiliary verbs can, should, and might, which express ability can, obligation should, and possibility might. Laura can sometimes hold her breath for over a minute. You should always put on sun cream when it's very sunny. We might never see each other again. Where do adverbs of frequency go? Form adverbs of frequency go before the main verb. Subject plus adverb plus main verb. I always eat breakfast. They sometimes take a taxi. Subject plus to be plus adverb plus main verb. I am always late for work. He is often ready for work at 6 a.m. They go between a modal and the main verb. Subject plus modo plus adverb plus main verb. You should always wear a helmet. I can sometimes hear my neighbor's TV. Positive. I always take the bus into town. Jenny is often late for work. We can also use negative adverbs of frequency. Never, seldom, rarely, and hardly ever. They go between the auxiliary and the main verb. We don't usually watch TV after lunch. They can't always wait for you. For questions, the order is auxiliary plus subject plus adverb of frequency plus verb. Do you always eat here? Does he usually do that? Take note. Negative adverbs. Negative adverbs such as never, seldom, rarely, and hardly ever cannot be used in negative sentences. The following sentence is incorrect because it has a double negative. Wrong. The weather isn't never sunny. Correct. The weather is never sunny. Take note. Sometimes can go before the subject, before the main verb, and after the main verb. Sometimes we go fishing. We sometimes go fishing. We go fishing sometimes. Sometimes can also be used in negative sentences. I don't sometimes go fishing. I never go fishing. I never sometimes go fishing. That doesn't make sense. Take note. Adverbs of frequency and the present continuous. Usually we use adverbs of frequency with the present simple. The adverb comes between the auxiliary and the main verb. She's always losing her phone. Now it's time to practice. Complete the sentences with the correct adverb of frequency. Always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. Example. I always go to bed early. I always go to bed early. Now it's your turn. Write one sentence about yourself using always. He often takes the train to work. We don't never drink coffee. I sometimes play tennis. She rarely eats meat. They usually come home late. They hardly ever call me. I always wake up at 7 o'clock. He seldom tells the truth. She never goes to bed without brushing her teeth. We often have breakfast together. Adverbs of frequency, exercises, and answer key. Exercise 1. Complete the sentences with the correct adverb of frequency. Example. I always go to bed early. I always go to bed early. Now it's your turn. He often takes the train to work. We don't ever drink coffee. I sometimes play tennis. She rarely eats meat. They usually come home late. They hardly ever call me. She never goes to bed without brushing her teeth. We often have breakfast together. You usually get up early. I always go to bed early. I sometimes play tennis. They hardly ever call me. She never goes to bed without brushing her teeth. Exercise 2. Choose the correct option. My father always, sometimes, forgets his keys. We rarely, hardly ever, have time to talk. It sometimes rains in this city in winter. In winter, it's cold, and it often rains in this city. My father sometimes forgets his keys. The children never want to go out at night. She usually gets up early on weekends. We hardly ever have time to talk. I never eat fast food. They usually arrive late for dinner. He always helps me with my homework. Exercise 3. Adverbs of frequency. Some sentences are correct. Others have mistakes. Correct the mistakes, if necessary. He usually goes to school by bike. We often spend our holidays in the countryside. I never meet my friends on Saturdays. He often forgets his umbrella. She always eats breakfast. We often spend our holidays in the countryside. I never meet my friends on Saturdays. Exercise 4. Put the adverbs in the right order. Subject plus modal plus adverb plus verb. We should always help the old people. You may often go out with your friends. They have to never be late. I can sometimes speak French. He could usually fix my bike. Exercise 5. A. I don't know how to cook. B. D. They always bring their dogs to the park. F. I. Sometimes read books in English. H. He usually helps me with my homework. I. A. I always follow the recipe. C. She often goes to bed early. F. I sometimes read books in English. H. He usually helps me with my homework. I. She often goes to the cinema with her friends. That's the end of the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it.